What does she do when she knows that you are no longer interested in her? Not at all what you may imagine it to be. The intensity is higher, the revelation is greater, and it has the potential to dramatically change the dynamic in your favor. The manner in which she responds will provide you with all the information you want on her genuine emotions and the level of authority you possess in the relationship. Stay here with me because gaining a knowledge of her behavior will provide you with a huge advantage that you were not even aware you possessed. First, the first shock of being unable to achieve control. The first shock that a woman experiences when she learns that she is no longer interested in you is more intense than you may expect. Surprise is not the only factor at play here. The abrupt discovery that the dynamic that she had previously controlled had completely transformed is the subject of this scenario. It is possible that up until this point, she had the impression that you were emotionally invested, predictable, and invested in the situation from the beginning. Nevertheless, the disappearance of that energy causes an emotional rippling effect that she is unable to ignore anymore. The lack of clarity is the source of this overwhelming feeling. Uncertainty is a source of solace. Not only does it let her know where she stands, but it also gives her the assurance that you are still there, paying attention, and emotionally invested in something. The loss of that confidence leads her into area that she is not comfortable with. The question, what changed, begins to crop up in her mind. Have I misunderstood him? Is there something that I failed to notice? These inquiries are not just the result of a lack of understanding. These feelings originate from the anxiety that she may lose the relationship that she believed she had control over. Here, however, is the most compelling section. In this time of shock, the equilibrium starts to move in a different direction. Because of your lack of communication and isolation, there is an air of mystery. There is no longer any doubt in her mind about her position. Furthermore, the presence of ambiguity generates an emotional tug. This question alone has the potential to take over her thoughts, and it causes her mind to become consumed with the subject of why. What is most crucial for you to do in this situation is to refrain from filling in the blanks for her. She should be allowed to rest with the shock and the inquiries. During this period of distress, she begins to reevaluate both her own conduct and the behavior of others, including herself. Her urge to recover validation is the second factor. When it comes to relationships, validation is equal to oxygen. She is unable to ignore the emptiness that is created in her head when she perceives that your attention and interest are drifting away from her. The absence of this emptiness causes her to feel the need to recapture that validation in order to guarantee that she will continue to occupy a prominent position in your life. However, this relates to more than simply sentiments. The goal is to recover a feeling of power and control over one's life. There is a possibility that you will see slight changes in her behavior during this era. It is possible for her to begin reaching out to other people by sending messages that appear to be casual but are, in reality, merely text messages that include, "Hey, how have you been?" Or more specifically, "I saw something that reminded me of you." These are not the result of chance. They are measured efforts to determine your emotional state and determine whether or not you will engage in the activity. Specifically, she is seeking for indications that she is still significant to you and that she continues to have some sort of influence over you. On the other hand, if she does not receive the answer that she is hoping for, her behaviors may become further aggressive. The possibility exists that she will attempt to elicit an emotional response by bringing up other individuals or by presenting herself as if she is utterly unconcerned by your absence. To be clear, this is not genuine apathy. You will be putting your emotional stability and boundaries to the test via this activity. When it comes to this situation, the most common error that people do is giving in too fast. In their quest to recapture affirmation, they perceive her attempts as real interest, and as a result, they relapse to their previous behaviors of pursuing or over-explaining. But the true power rests in your ability to maintain your position. When you maintain your composure and distance from her, you require her to exert more effort in order to comprehend you. Her perception of you is altered as a result of this small yet deep transformation. It opens her eyes to the fact that you are not the same person she had previously believed she had figured out. Lastly, the inquisitiveness that compels her to reconsider her position. Eventually, once the first shock has subsided and her attempts to recover validation have been unsuccessful, curiosity will take over. It's not only about you that this interest is about. It is about gaining an understanding of what went wrong and what shifts occurred, especially when it comes to matters of relationships. People have a natural tendency to be analytical. When you experience a sudden change in your behavior, it prompts you to investigate the reasons behind the change. Immediately, she starts reliving your previous interactions in her head, scrutinizing each and every aspect in search of hints. Did she fail to notice something? She failed to take into account something significant. These inquiries are not only for the sake of passing contemplation. Her head is filled with them in a cycle that never stops. It's possible that she will even begin to seek the counsel of her friends in an effort to piece together a story that can explain your actions. Having a curious mind also leads to introspection. As she continues to investigate, she begins to recognize things that she may have overlooked in the past. Your traits, the things you've done, and the things that set you apart from others. A gap is created in her thoughts as a result of your absence, which allows these beneficial characteristics to become more prominent. For all intents and purposes, it seems as if your silence has amplified everything that she had previously taken for granted. During this phase, you are not required to take any action, which is a wonderful feature. She is letting her thoughts handle all of the job for you. In proportion to her growing sense of curiosity, her level of interest in comprehending the events that transpired increases. Furthermore, the more engaged she becomes, the greater the likelihood that she will become aware of the amount of money that she stands to lose. First, the function of the ego. Within the context of this equation, ego is a potent force. Specifically, it is connected to her feeling of power and identity. Because of this, her ego reacts in a protective manner whenever that control is threatened. She is forced to confront a version of herself that she may not want to see, as she comes to terms with the fact that you are no longer as interested in being with her as you once were. Validation and assurance are crucial to the survival of the ego. Her sense of significance in your life is bolstered when you demonstrate attentiveness, responsiveness, and emotional availability to her relationship with you. On the other hand, the instant you draw back, that reinforcement is no longer present. This causes her to have an inner struggle, and she begins to doubt whether or not she has miscalculated the effect that she has over you. On account of the fact that it challenges her view of the relationship, this phase may prove to be challenging for her. Because of your retreat, she is forced to reevaluate her position. Even if she believed she had the upper hand, it is possible that her ego will cause her to act out in an attempt to restore the authority that she believes she has lost. As an example, she can try to provoke you with oblique comments, try to make you envious, or look extremely confident in order to conceal her uneasiness. It is essential to maintain a steady pace here. Refrain from allowing her ego-driven reactions to drag you back into the dynamics of the past. Behaving in a manner that is cool and collected will have a greater impact on her state of mind than any reactionary conduct could ever hope to. Her feelings will eventually take precedence over her ego, and it is at this point that she will begin to engage in genuine introspection. 5. The juncture of a turnaround. When she is aware of the absence of anything, it is common to underestimate the influence of silence. But when she begins to sense the gap that you have left behind, the impact of silence becomes indisputable. The absence of your presence is not the only thing that I miss. It is about the lack of all that you provided to the relationship, including your attention, your energy, and your constancy. It is possible that she would first disregard it, believing that she is able to adapt to the new dynamic. On the other hand, as the days or weeks pass, the burden of your absence starts to become more noticeable. She begins to take note of the insignificant things that she had previously taken for granted, such as the method in which you made her laugh, the manner in which you listened, or even the stability that you gave. Realizations like this happen in waves, and each wave is more powerful than the one that came before it. Not only is the absence emotional, but it is also something psychological. As time goes on, she begins to wonder if she misjudged your worth and whether the fact that she has lost your attention is a consequence of anything she has done incorrectly. The potency of this introspection lies in the fact that it compels her to address neither her own actions nor the repercussions of those actions. You will have a straightforward job throughout this time. Just do nothing. Permit her to experience the whole weight of the absence. Let her ponder and wonder about things. Her perception of the significance of your absence grows in proportion to the length of time she spends contemplating these emotions. There are 6 reasons why quiet increases your value. Silence is sometimes misconstrued by others. Both ignoring her and playing games are not acceptable options. What is important is that you provide room for her to think about the positive impact that you have had on her life. When you suddenly stop talking to her, you are removing the continual comfort that she may have become accustomed to receiving. This unexpected absence compels her to reevaluate the significance that you have for her, and it is the place where the magic takes place. Your quiet is potent because it comes as a surprise to everyone nearby. When confronted with disappointment or dissatisfaction, the majority of individuals attempt to resolve the situation by either seeking closure, explaining themselves, or fighting for attention. Without speaking a single word, you are able to convey a message just by taking a step back and being silent. There is no need for me to demonstrate my value to you. In my activities, I have demonstrated my actions. As time goes on, your silence starts to magnify your presence in her mind until it becomes more noticeable. She begins to relive previous interactions, becoming aware of the details that she may have missed the first time around. It's possible that it's your thoughtfulness, your loyalty, or the manner that you made her feel like she was the only one. During your absence, these beneficial characteristics become more pronounced, since there is no commotion to divert her attention away from the emptiness that you have left behind. Quietness also affords her the opportunity to reflect on her own being. It's possible that she'll be wondering, why hasn't he called me? Does he truly intend to move on? Is it possible that I misjudged him? These inquiries are not only intended to pique one's curiosity. These things instill a sense of immediacy. As you continue to maintain your silence, your presence will become increasingly meaningful, and she will become more aware of how much she misses having you in her life. Whenever you remain silent for an extended period of time, the emotional strain increases. A one-of-a-kind sort of emotional tension is produced as a result. This strain is not just caused by the fact that I need you. The unanswered emotions and questions that are circling around in her head are the focus of this. Her ideas are heavily influenced by the fact that she is unsure of where she stands in relation to you. And because of this ongoing concentration, she is able to retain you firmly in her mind. Her sense of stability is disrupted, which is one of the reasons why emotional strain is so potent. She may have been under the impression that she was in control of the situation. However, the fact that you withdrew from the scenario shatters that illusion. As a result of this loss of control, a variety of feelings are triggered, including remorse for not appreciating you, curiosity about what you are doing at the moment, and even guilt for maybe taking you for granted. Her awareness of everything that brings to mind you is also heightened as a result of the tension. The memories of the connection you had might be brought back by a song, a familiar area, or even a discussion that is completely unrelated to the relationship. The emotional tug exerted on her is increased with each reminder, which causes her to think about you more and more. At number 8, when curiosity is translated into action, people are motivated to take action when they are curious about something. The moment the emotional tension reaches its highest point, she will experience an overpowering need to close the distance between them. It is possible that initially, her activities would be somewhat covert, such as like your postings on social media, sending you casual texts, or finding excuses to establish contact with you. However, when her interest in the subject increases, she makes more concerted efforts to reconnect with the person. The fact that she is reaching out to you is an indication that she has been thinking about you on a consistent basis. It is quite probable that she has spent days or weeks evaluating her thoughts, rehashing previous exchanges, and asking what went wrong. Reflection is a process that frequently results in the realization of something. She may have made a more significant error in judgment when she lost you than she originally believed. It is essential that you react to her behaviors in a certain way. This is your chance to demonstrate that you have developed and progressed over the past several years. Be sure to respond in a manner that is composed, self-assured, and little distant. For instance, if she texts you, you should refrain from immediately engaging in in-depth talks with her. Instead, remember to keep things light and casual in order to demonstrate to her that you are not needy for her attention, even though you are open to reuniting with her. She perceives you in a different way as a result of this equilibrium of self-assurance and distancing. In other words, It reaffirms the notion that you are someone who is worthy of being pursued, rather than someone who is easily won over. You may alter the power dynamic in your favor by maintaining your calm, which will make her understand that getting you back will not be as easy as she may have anticipated it would be. It is 9. How come? Constraint of one's emotions is always the victor. The ability to maintain emotional control is one of the most beautiful talents that a person can possess, and it becomes even more obvious when she makes an effort to reconnect with you. She may try to evaluate your level of interest by putting your patience to the test or by eliciting emotional responses from you when she makes contact with you. The manner in which you respond to these situations will determine how she views you in the future. Let us imagine that she brings up previous conflicts or makes an attempt to elicit a response by referencing other individuals. By expressing anger or annoyance in response to her acts, you are demonstrating to her that you are still emotionally connected to her behavior. Nevertheless, if you maintain your composure and your lack of anxiety, it conveys a sense of power and confidence. Despite the fact that you care about her, it conveys to her that you are not influenced by her actions. No, repressing your feelings is not the same thing as having emotional control. Being able to master them is the goal. Being able to demonstrate that you are capable of handling disappointment, rejection, or confrontation with maturity and grace is the goal here. This particular form of stability is quite uncommon and extremely appealing due to the fact that it generates a feeling of safety. She is well aware that you are not easily unsettled, regardless of the circumstances that may arise. Emotional control is a wonderful thing since it brings the attention back to you at the same time. Rather of pursuing her or responding to her challenges, you are demonstrating to her that your existence and happiness are not dependent on her. A lasting impression that is difficult to ignore is left behind by your independence, which makes you stand out from the crowd. 10. The strength that comes with moving on politely. Moving on with grace is one of the most significant things you can do for yourself today. Not only does this not imply fully shutting her off, but it also does not mean acting as if you do not care. It implies demonstrating to her that you are self-assured enough to put your own development and pleasure ahead of her own responsibilities. The message that you are sending is unmistakable when you move on gently. My self-worth is so high that I would never allow myself to remain in a circumstance that does not meet my expectations. It is quite desirable to have this amount of self-respect since it demonstrates that you are not scared to walk away from things that are not beneficial to you. It also causes her to examine the decisions she has made and the way she has behaved. The practice of graceful detachment is not about manipulating others or seeking retribution. Putting your attention on yourself is the key. Putting your efforts into activities that bring you joy and satisfaction is the key to having a successful life, no matter if it's your professional life, your hobbies, or your own personal growth. When she observes you succeeding in life without her presence, it inspires feelings of admiration and curiosity in her. You create a profound impression on others by moving on gracefully, and that image will stay. She will remember how you handled the matter with respect and maturity, and it will bring to her attention what she has lost as a result of your actions. This realization frequently results in feelings of remorse and a need to get back in touch with the person. On the other hand, by that time, you will be in a much stronger position to determine whether or not she is actually deserving of your time and effort. Final thoughts. We appreciate you watching. If you found this video to be helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to get other videos with similar content. In the comments section, please share your ideas. To get your point of view, I would be delighted. Have a good time in the next